Silverfilter here, and for today, I want to talk about it's a mixing topic for today. And my tip for today is just to re-listen to your old favorites. Okay? Now, when you start mixing, when you start doing your your tracks and all, when you started to get into production, there's a certain mindset you become a bit more critical, you become a bit more technical. You listen because you're trying to um clean up things. Basically, again, you become critical, you become technical in the way you listen to your productions. But I want us to re-listen to those favorites that you were listening to when before everything else, before you got into this. So maybe these were songs that were your favorites when you were 7 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old. Stuff you danced to, or you just listened to, or just sang along to as a kid, or even when you were a teenager. Just just stuff that were like pre-producer phase. And the thing that I want to to take from this is that these were the times when you were just listening for pleasure, and it was a different season, and it was a different part of your brain that was working when you were enjoying these tracks. So are you starting to get what I'm saying? When you were enjoying these songs, you weren't really being critical about it. You weren't really listening to the mix. You weren't really listening to that snare. You weren't listening to that vocal reverb or whatever, right? And now that you've grown, it's now nice to go back to those songs that you had the pleasure of listening. And now maybe as you're mature in your mixing, why not try to find out what you liked about them? And because maybe what made them um like what made them your favorites were some key elements that were related to the mix and how it sounded. And let's just say how why that groove was just sounded like really chunky. Was it the kick drum? Was it the snare? Was the fat snare, but the reverb was a bit longer than usual. So stuff like that. It, it it's it's a good exercise to just revisit old songs that you really loved, and be able to get and pick up things that you can apply to your mixes and your personal productions. So that's it for today.